8 months ago, Sean Eichhorst named Mike Riley Nebraska's new head football coach.
It turns out that Mike Riley is a man with a very common name, but a very uncommon ability to make young men great.
And now, with an interesting twist on this story, is our own Lance Schwartz. Lance?
Thanks, guys. A new era is about to begin. When most Nebraskans heard about who was hired last December as Nebraska's head football coach, they said, "Who?" When all the men in the state named Mike Riley heard about who was hired, they said, "What?" But Mike Riley, the mayor of Humboldt, well, he was thrilled that his favorite namesake was headed to Lincoln.
Hey Husker fans, I'm Mike Riley and I'm riled up for 2015 Cornhusker football.
Mayor Mike Riley became a fan of Coach Mike Riley in 1999 when Riley was with the San Diego Chargers.
I just kept following him after that and kept track of him ever since then.
So Mike was not surprised when Mike got the Nebraska job.
When the word came out, most of the guys at work were going, "Who is this and why did we hire this guy?" And I'm going, "Great, Mike Riley."
There could be a downside to sharing your name with one of the most well-known people in the state. But this Mike Riley isn't worried. Yet.
No, I love it. I love it. I've embraced it. I mean, I just enjoy it.
What a thrill it is for me to meet Mike Riley in front of Memorial Stadium, and it just gets better from here. Mike has a special guest for us.
I sure do. Thanks for having me, Lance. I appreciate it. I'd like to introduce you to my high school band instructor, Tom Osborne. How you doing, Tom?
Good to see you, buddy.
Tom Osborne.
Yeah, hi, Lance.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's true. Mike Riley's band teacher at Humboldt High School in the early 80s was Tom Osborne.
I got to know Mike back when he was a young feller in the 6th grade.
Tom says this Mike has a lot more in common with the Husker head coach than just his name.
Mike always showed that extra go, like he was really wanting to help people, and he still does that yet today. I'm really proud of him.
Presbyterian pastor Tom Osborne can teach Mayor Mike Riley a thing or two about carrying around a high-profile name in the state of Nebraska.
And I said, "Mike, you don't know what kind of phone calls you're going to start getting now."
And he told me the story about how many phone calls he's gotten, because when he used to live in Lincoln here and Tom Osborne was the coach, he got a ton of phone calls.
We did.
This Tom is 68 years old. This Tom is 78 years old. So they've shared the same name for quite some time.
To be honest with you, it's been especially easy for me to start a conversation with people, because I walk up and say, "My name is Tom Osborne," and immediately anybody in Nebraska is going to start talking to me about how you doing, coach, how's it going. But nonetheless, we share this joy about having namesakes that are tied to Nebraska football.
And we're both lucky to have their names because they're both class individuals.
I couldn't agree more. Pastor Tom Osborne from Auburn has some great stories about when he actually lived in Coach Osborne's hometown of Hastings, and he enjoyed seeing the looks on people's faces when he introduced himself. And Tom took great pride in traveling between Hastings and Grand Island on, you guessed it, the Tom Osborne Expressway. And can you guys imagine having famous names like Dave Heineman, Pete Ricketts, or dare I say, Ken Shimmick?
Or Lance Schwartz?
No,
I mean, that
no.
one must be
Don't
really
lump me
tough
into
out
that.
there.
I was thinking about changing my name to Lance Schwartz, so
Let's get
are you
back
saying
to
I should
Mike
reconsider
Riley.
that?
I am. There's only one.
I'm sure there's a lot of fun little jabs that go with that, though. Maybe texting him like, "Well, coach, how do you think the game's going to go Saturday?" Or, stuff like that.
Absolutely. Tom Osborne was in Dawson-Burden. One of the students down there actually thought he was the Tom Osborne from Lincoln. He just went down south during the week before the games.
That's
Pretty
great.
funny stuff.
And this is our last Lance's Journal for a little bit, because you have a fun adventure to tell us
That's
about.
right. I'm headed off to our town, McCook, to shoot 10 stories next week, so the Journal will go on hiatus for a while. But it looks like on the 21st of September, we will be back with our town, McCook.
All right,
Keep an
looking
eye
forward
out
to
for it.
Thanks, Lance. Appreciate it. We'll
Yep.
be back to update your forecast next.
I think it's...